Hi and welcome back to my channel. I'm Simon and today I am back with my March book haul. So some lovely books from lovely publishers, some lovely gifts from lovely folk and some lovely books I bought my lovely self. Lots of loveliness in this teetering pile or three of books from last month. But before we get on with those, just a quick little bit of channel admin and event reminders. I would love to know from all of you lovely lot what you would like to see on the channel going forward. I just want a little bit of, feedback, inspiration, thoughts, opinions, constructive criticism, all those things. What would you like to see, both in videos where I just sit in front of my bookshelves chatting about either book hauls or I mean, they happen anyway. I don't do TBRs, I meant wrap-ups, but also like any recent faves. Should I do a quarterly catch-up? Would you like some more anticipated Reid videos? Would you like me to do top 10s of anything? The more the merrier. All down below. I am thinking, as it's going to be my 9th booktube birthday at the end of next month, doing between my 9th and 10th booktube birthdays some content around what sort of maybe read around, because I think I've lost that a little bit. The reader that I have been and sort of direction that I want to go forward, I'm thinking about heading to like favourite authors that I've not read for ages, all that kind of stuff. Anything around that too, let me know in the comments below. Now, event-wise, just a reminder that the next Women's Prize Book Club will be on the 26th of April. It's with the wonderful Paula Hawkins, who is celebrating 10 years of The Girl on the Train. Mum and I will be chatting to her live at Story House and also online, and you can join us both. If you're online and you can't make the 26th, you can watch us whenever you like. We're pretty much on demand, frankly, for a month after the events. Just a reminder of that. And very exciting news, Mum and I will be doing the next Women's Prize Book Club after that in June at Women's Prize Live, where we'll be talking to Rose Tremaine. We are going to need to have tissues, I think, because Rose Tremaine is not only one of both of our favourite authors, she was one of my grand's favourite authors, so I think that's going to be quite an emotional one. So just to let you know that, I will link Women's Prize Live down below too. If you can't make it there, I think it's been recorded to be played or shared at another point. I don't understand tech. How I'm doing this, don't know, frankly. Anyway, let's move on to books from publishers first. And as always, the books that I have shown you on the channel before, although I don't know if I have shown you this on the channel before, but I already own it, so it feels like it counts. This is wow, it's all about the anniversaries and celebrations, isn't it? This is the 20th anniversary edition of Kazuo Ishiguro's Never Let Me Go, which is definitely my favourite of his books. For those of you who have read it, you'll know why. It's a book that is speculative and incredibly emotional and incredibly haunting. And if you haven't got to it, get to it, because it's an absolute good one. I have to say, since reading The Dream Hotel by Layla Lalami, I am very much in the mood for more speculative fiction. Then we have a dazzling lost classic. I showed you the proof of this before. This is Fishtails by Nettie Jones. It's a book that was championed by Toni Morrison and almost lost for 40 years. It's a kaleidoscopic swirl, what a good term, of desire and exploitation, selfhood and self-destruction. Stunning cover, love it. Then we have, and I will be doing an event with the lovely Seán Hewitt. This is a finished edition of Open Heaven. We're going to be in conversation in Liverpool on Tuesday, the 27th of May. So if you'd like to come along, I will link that down below too. Don't really know much about this. Think it's rural queerness. I'm here for it. Want more of it. Read Anthony Chapman's earlier this year and loved it, so I'm having high hopes for this one here. And then we also have some Caribbean literature with A House for Miss Pauline by Diana McCauley, which again, one that I'm really keen to get to. Whenever I read Caribbean literature, I tend to really love it. Maybe that's an idea for a vlog at some point, or just a video of recommendations of my favourites so far. Now, books that I haven't mentioned, one of the most anticipated books of this year, not just by me, but by, I don't know, I feel like a majority of readers, is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And this, I believe, is about space and astronauts. That's all I know. That's all I want to know. It's out in June. I'm going to probably read it very soon. And I'm very excited about it. And very grateful that Hutchinson very kindly sent me that. I asked for a copy of Separate Rooms by Pier, Vittorio, Tondelli. Now, is this translated? I just want to double check that. By Simon Pleasance, and an introduction by Andre Aciman. Now, this is another rediscovered classic, actually, or classic that's coming back into print. It's mainly, I think, been taken on because it's going to be a film with Paul Mescal, and the one who played the hottie that played Prince Charles in The Crown, but then was in Challengers, which is one of my all-time favourite films, him. So yeah, excited for this. One thing that will definitely be a vlog, although I don't know if this is going to be included in it, but I will be doing a vlog of the International Booker Shortlist reading vlog of that, or a Bookish Weekly vlog.
I think I might drop the weekly, because sometimes they're longer than a week, sometimes they're not. Well, they've certainly not been every week this year. Anyway.
A book that very kindly got sent to me by the team at Hope Road is Vincent Delecroix' Small Boat, and I have heard amazing things about this. I've heard it's an incredibly uncomfortable book. It's set with a raft of immigrants in the Channel, and I think there's a debate over whether in British or French water. It is translated, I should say, by Helen Stevenson. Sorry if you can hear street noise, I've got the windows open. It's a very sunny April day. I'm here for it. It's one that I'm very keen to read, and I will be reading it whether it's on the shortlist or not, but I will also definitely be reading the shortlist. So big thanks to the team at Hope Road for sending me that. That was a lovely surprise to get. Then in July, we have the third in the Detective Beauchamp series, or Detective Beauchamp, depending how you say it, by Charlotte Vassell. I've really loved the first two in this series, so I'm really looking forward to getting these. Also, they've just done these new covers, which I just think cover my mug up. Look absolutely gorge. Then the lovely folk, again at Hutchinson, asked me if I would like a copy of The Hounding by Xenobe Purvis. I obviously said yes because it's here. This sounds so great. This is about a bunch of sisters, and there's some dark shenanigans going on. On the back it says, the power of a man's word is absolute. It's safer to be a wild animal than an unconventional young woman. I'm getting gothic vibes. I'm very excited for it. And yeah, can't wait to read this one. And this is out in June. Did I say that this was out in July? If I didn't, whoopsie. And I think this is out now. I'm really bad for that. Did I say that this is out in April? This month. There we are. Right, we're caught up. And the lovely folk at Verve Books dropped me an email asking if I would like some of their books. And I went through the catalogue and did say, well, actually, I already have most of your books because I've been buying them for myself. But one that sounded really interesting, and again, as I mentioned, I'm really in the mood for some speculative fiction, is Every Version of You by Grace Chan. This is set in Australia at the end of the 21st century, where you can spend a lot of time living in an alternate reality. And in reality, you are actually just suspended in some quite grotty flats. And the choice is coming through that you can actually have your brain uploaded, and that will be your life. And this looks at that from the perspective of someone who's in that situation, but also their mother, who has nothing to do with tech or AI or anything. So I think this is going to be really interesting. And yeah, I've definitely got that speculative scratch. Might need to see a doctor about it. Then this is Calls May Be Recorded for Training and Monitoring Purposes by Katharina Volckmer. But this is about somebody who does all sorts of different kind of work. And it says, from perfecting his roles as an undertaker and as a clown to performing duties above and beyond his employment contract, narrator Jimmy debates the importance of optimum shade for lipstick and bathroom walls, the pros and cons of nudist versus... It just sounds a bit bonkers, and I'm intrigued by books about work or novels about work. I always find reading about work an odd experience because you never want it to feel like you're doing the work in the books, even though you sort of do. I don't know what I mean, but I do know what I mean. Do you know what I mean? I forgot to say that both of these are out now-ish. The lovely folk at Manila Press very kindly sent me 3 books that I am very keen to get to. The first of those is Ordinary Saints by Mhaoileoin. I probably said that really wrong and I'm so sorry. But I'm excited for this. Irish writing, I am definitely back into, after having been lost a little at sea with it, I won't lie. I'm going to read you the blurb because this is what made me want to read it, although I have heard some amazing things. Brought up in a devout household in Ireland, Jay is now living in London with her girlfriend, determined to live day to day and not to think too much about either the future or the past. But then she learns that her beloved older brother, who died in a terrible accident, may be made into a Catholic saint. Jay realises that she must at last confront her family, her childhood and herself. And this sounds like it's going to be incredible, and I believe is based on the author's own religious upbringing. So yeah, really intrigued for that. Then we have Bethnal Green by Amelie Skoda. And I think this is about the setting up of the NHS. No, it's not about setting up, sorry, incorrect. It's not about setting up the NHS, he says, having actually looked, but it's about migrant workers within the NHS. And I think starts in the 1970s actually in Penang and then moves to Bethnal Green. I think this is going to be really, really good. Hungerstone by Kat Dunn. Super duper excited for this. This is one of quite a few vampire books or vampiric books that are out this year. This is set in my homeland of the Peak District, and that was what really, really kind of made me hunger for it, pun sadly intended, but is one that I kind of want to read while I'm in the Peak District. I don't know why, because in my head, like, I should be reading it in a horse-drawn carriage as I'm going along the peaks. But anyway, we're not going to make that happen. I mean, maybe we could make that happen. Let me know if you'd like me to do that. Anyway, this one I'm just very excited for. Historical, vampiric, Peak District. Sign me up. Then, from the lovely folk at Granta, I asked for Under the Eye of the Big Bird by Hiromi Kawakami, which is translated from the Japanese by Asa Yonida and is also up for the Booker International, if I didn't say that already. Again, speculative fiction. I saw this in, which bookshop was it? Hatchards, I think, in King's Cross, and was really, really tempted to buy it, but I was like, no, I'm trying not to buy hardbacks. How well have I done at that? Pretty well. But I'm trying not to buy hardbacks where I can. But at the same time, I was like, oh, I really, really fancy this. So when I was asking for the next book, I asked for that too. And this book is Beartooth by Callan Wink, which one of my lovely patrons, my Patreon is linked down below, at Book Club, Kira, recommended this. It doesn't sound like me at all. It's set fishing in the wilderness. There's going to be a big bear in it. I do like me a bear. And, well, I say fishing, it's about a poaching trip in Yellowstone. But yeah, I'm really, really keen for this. And the way Kyra described it just made me sound like it was going to be absolutely my kind of thing. Then, penultimately, this book from Picador is Fair Play by Louise Hecate. Now, this is meant to be a bit of a golden age crime, and I do love me a golden age detective novel. I think this has quite a modern twist, and also, I believe, looks at grief in a really interesting way. So, intrigued. But anyway, yeah, we have that one. And then, last but not least from publishers, and the last book that I asked for in March, Call Me Ishmael by Xiaolu Guo, who is one of my favourite authors who I've not read anything by for quite a while, shame on me. But this sounds really intriguing. It is a retelling of Moby Dick, which is a book I have made peace with that I am never going to read. No, you can't make me, and no, I don't feel like I need to read that before I read this. And what makes this super duper different in its retelling is that it's told from a female perspective, and that to me really intrigues me. Plus, I feel like it's time that I got back to reading some Xiaolu Guo. On to lovely gifts, and first up from the lovely folk at the Women's Prize, we have the Women's Prize for Non-Fiction shortlist, which I'll be reading in May and doing a reading vlog of. I'm not going to tell you about all of these right now because I did do a reaction video to these 6 books, so I will link that down below. But watching Mum read all of the long list just got me super duper excited for whatever the shortlist is going to be. There are some books that didn't make the shortlist that I'm also really, really desperate to read, so we'll be doing that over the coming weeks and months. Then, last month, I went to the Nero Book Awards and we all left with the winner, Morris and Marilyn, and came with some lovely coffee. I have the hardback of this. I'm going to read the paperback though and then give it to Mum because Mum nearly picked it up when we were in London last week. But I was like, no, you can have mine. Thought I would share that. That is based on the true story of a couple who get lost at sea, and also, spookily, I believe, involves a whale. Is there a theme there that I can find whales in fiction and non-fiction? I don't know. We'll see. On to lovely presents from some of you lovely lot from my wish list, which is linked down below. Just to clarify, the wish list that I have is with the Demon website. However, it is for books that I can't get in the UK at independent bookshops or high street shops. That is the rule I have allowed myself. First up, we have Hotline, which was kindly sent by, I think it was Linda sent me this. This was on Canada Reads a few years ago, and I thought sounded absolutely incredible. So I'm super duper excited to get this one. Also, speaking of Canadian fiction, the lovely Jilly very kindly sent me Moon of the Crusted Snow. Now, this is a novel that's a mixture, or I should say, by Wargeshig Rice, and this is a book that is both a thriller and speculative. I think a bit crimey. This I'm super duper excited for, and I believe now has a sequel. So yeah, thrilled for that. Then we have, and it came with no note, but I've just found out this was lovely Jane. She got me Kill for Love by Laura Picklesimmer. What a great surname. And this apparently is for fans of Eliza Clark's Boy Parts. I mean, the cover is intriguing. I haven't read Boy Parts, just to say. I've read She's Always Hungry, Eliza's short story collection, and loved it, and want to go back and read Boy Parts. This just really, really intrigued me. Also, a big thanks to Denise, let me Wolf at the Table by Adam Rapp, which the wonderful Brett, whose channel I will link down below, absolutely raved about. It's meant to be a really great literary thriller. He absolutely sold me on it. So we have those. And then, in terms of gifts, lovely Chris got me 3 books from my wishlist. I didn't even know I had the link to it, so it was a real surprise to get these. First up, we have Madame Restless by Jennifer Wright, which is the life, death and resurrection of old New York's most fabulous, fearless and infamous abortionist. I think with what's going on in America, this is going to be a very relevant read, even though it's set, well, I think like in, I always want to say the Victorian era, but in America obviously isn't the Victorian era, so let's just say the 1800s. Then some more non-fiction with The Swans of Harlem by Karen Valby, and this is 5 black ballerinas, 50 years of sisterhood and their reclamation of a groundbreaking history. Sarah Jessica Parker has raved about this, and I love Sarah Jessica Parker, and I like a lot of her taste. I think we have quite a similar taste. So I've been really, really intrigued for this one, and I didn't like the paperback, so it was the hardback that I had on my wish list, but I really, really, really want to get to more non-fiction. I'm reading a non-fiction corker at the moment. I say corker, it's actually also quite terrifying, and it's very big brain energy, but in a really, really good way, about climate and the environment and stuff. But yeah, I'll be talking about that in due course. It's Australian, which actually links seamlessly to the third and final of the books that Chris got me, and the last of the gifts from other people before I head on to the gifts that I bought myself. This is Body Friend. I've held it for a while now, so you can probably tell that already, by Catherine Brabham. And again, this is one I don't know too much about. I've just heard loads of great things and lots of bubbles of buzz from all the people that I follow on Bookstagram in Australia. I'd love some recommendations of more Australian booktubers. Let me know those in the comments down below. I'd be really, really, really grateful. Right, on to books that I got myself. First up, in March, I went to The Bound in Newcastle. Well, not in Newcastle, it's actually in Whitley Bay, which is a little bit out. Great ride on the Mitrule. A very nostalgic journey for me, because I used to get the metro all the time when me and mum lived there. And I picked up 3 books there, all non-fiction. First of which is The Garden Against Time by Olivia Laing. I've been wanting to get this for a while. This is about Olivia Laing buying a house with this old walled garden, and it's got a lot of history, the garden, and she wants to bring it back to its former glory. I have a walled garden, so that's one thing, but also have got an allotment now that the paperwork's all been sorted. And so, yeah, I thought this would be nice to read. Also, check out the spreadsheets. I mean, that is stunning. So we have that. Then we have The Art Thief by Michael Finkel. And this just really caught the corner of my eye because of the bat. I don't know why. And at first I was like, oh, I don't really like books about art, but I just picked up the back and I saw a quote from Maggie Farrell saying, a breathtaking read as compelling as a Highsmith novel. And I was like, ooh, now that has me intrigued. But I was thinking that this would be like Art Thieves from the Victorian era. I didn't realise this was going to be set in the 1990s, and that intrigues me all the more. Terrifying that is history, but this is about a couple who carried out more than 200 heists in 10 years. I mean, bonkers. And then, for those of you who've been around a while, you'll know that I like a bit, well, I was going to say I like a bit of fiction. This would be non-fiction. What is it? Get on with it, Simon. It's Cloistered, My Years as a Nun by Coldstream, and I think this just sounds brill, and I think it's going to be really fascinating. Sadly, all the nuns over the road, the retired nuns, have all moved out now. We miss them a lot because they were wonderful women. That will be a fictional fix of them, if that makes sense. What did I buy with this? Because I bought this as buy one get one free. Oh, I know. I bought Chris Glorious Exploits because we were going to see Ferdia Lennon, and I wanted him to read it beforehand. He didn't. He started it. He's not a fan of it. We are now seeking lawyers. This is The King's Witches, which I bought as the other part of the buy one get one half price in Newcastle Waterstones. I really enjoyed Kate Forster's debut, The Maiden. This is another Tudor romp, or what's the other one, Tudor? This is definitely Tudor, set in Edinburgh, and I think looks at one of the wives of James I, or the wife of James I, and I have seemed to have sort of fallen into a bit of a James I and his lovers fascination, so this will give a different account of that. But yeah, one that I wanted to get to. Also, I really want to read more historical fiction. I've read some absolute bangers in the last couple of months. Speaking of which, there will be a February and March reading wrap-up video coming. I'm combining the two because I'm aware that I haven't done one, but life got derailed slightly by the Women's Prize Longest in Needing to read so much within such a short space of time. I have, apart from those vlogs, barely made any YouTube videos, so I feel very rusty all the time. I haven't really watched any YouTube. I feel absolutely appalled with myself, but I've got a great watch list to head back to. The next 3 books I picked up in foils, and I'm laughing because I picked them up on 2 separate trips within less than 12 hours of each other. The first trip, I picked up 2 books, and the first of those was Kitchen by Banana Yoshimoto. Now, this was a bit of a naughty purchase because, well, to be fair, and to give an excuse, not that I need one, I was worried that I was running out of books to read because unusually I'd underpacked, which I don't normally do. However, when I was in Boys, I spotted this, and I had been looking for, cover my face up, a book with kitchen utensils or kitchen items on the cover or in the title, and this was perfect for it. However, ended up taking longer to read the book that I had with me than I thought I would, so didn't get around to this, but I will in due course at some point because I've heard from Mum that it's absolutely blinking brilliant. Then when I was there, the book that I'd actually gone on the hunt for was another of the International Booker Prize longlist. I think that longlist looks so much fun, with the exception of Solon.
I should probably get shortlisted now. I've cursed myself because I'm nervous of that one because it's blinking massive, and I did pick it up in paperback recently, and the font is so small, I am terrified of it. Not that I would wish a book not to be shortlisted, but maybe not that one.
Anyway, moving on. Eurotrash is the book that I picked up by Christian Cracked, which is translated by
Daniel Bowles.
Which is translated by Daniel Bowles, and this is about apparently a mother and son who are both dreadful, and that's all I needed to know. While I was in foils, I spotted the next book that I then had to go and pick up because the special edition with its wedges was so beautiful, and that is Stag Dance by Tori Peters, which I believe is a novella and some short stories. Look at that. It's that hot pink that has been around for a while and refuses to leave publishing, and I'm not mad about it because I really, really like that colour. My bathroom is this colour. I'm really, really excited for this. I really want to support Tori anyway, so I was umming about buying it at some point because I do have the proof, but I was thinking about maybe waiting for paperback. However, couldn't resist it, and wanted to put my money where my mouth was with support for trans authors, which I have talked about recently. Now, the next 2 books I got in the Lake District. That's not true. I got one in the Lake District. I got the other one in Lancashire. Let's be geographically correct. The first of which was one I bought for myself on my birthday when I was in Grasmere, and that is Troll by Johanna Sinisalo, and it is translated by Herbert Lomas from the Finnish. And I have read it. I thought this was quite bonkers. It's about a photographer called Angel who one day finds a troll that is being basically beaten up by a group of ewes, and he rescues it, and then things, well, they go awry. I will be telling you more about this in my February and March wrap up. It was the first book that I read that I bought myself in my 43rd year, or 44th if you want to be correct. I'm 43, so in my head it's my 43rd year, okay? If this is how reading is going to carry on, well, there we go. Although actually the first book that I finished in my 43rd, 44th year was Dream Hotel, which was a banger, so that was a good start to that year. And then at the lovely Carnorth bookshop, no, I always want to call it the wrong thing. It's Carnforth, not Carnorth, and not Carnarvon. That's in Wales. I picked up Jessie Burton's Hidden Treasure, which is her latest book for younger readers. I believe it's got lots of adventure, lots of mudlarking in London, and I'm really keen to read that. I think it will remind me of the sort of books I used to read when I was younger. Lastly, I got 2 books from Blackwell's, their import editions. The first of the 2 is Loca by Alejandro Herrera. No, can't read sideways. Alejandro Herrera. And this is a queer coming of age novel, I believe. I've heard amazing things from lots of folk across the pond.
Is it the pond between here? I always feel like across the pond is to Australia, but that's like a massive pond. Is it across the pond to America? Whatever.
Across the ocean. I've heard amazing things about this, enough to tempt me to want to get it, and I picked it up for myself, as I did Still Life by Catherine Packett-Burke. And this is meant to be a really interesting novel around trans rights and trans issues. And yeah, I mean, it's tricky to pick a book that has the same I'm a little bit nervous about this because it's tricky when you have a favourite book called Still Life to then read another, but then I'm also seeing that as a good omen for some reason, even though they're completely different. I am referring to Still Life by Sarah Whitman. But yeah, I'm intrigued for this one. The cover is super duper intriguing. Again, it's one that I've heard murmurings about, don't know too much about, and so therefore can't tell you too much about, because I like to not know too much about a book before I read it, if I can help it. So there we are. Right, as you can see, it's a good time to sign off because we're in danger of a bookish Jesus situation happening, and we don't need that today, frankly. I actually thought this video was going to be super duper speedy and not need any edits. April Fool's sat right here. I should know myself better by now, and my love for a tangent, so I'm going to have an afternoon of editing ahead. Anyway, thank you as always for watching. I'd love to keep the conversation going in the comments down below, both with your suggestions or ideas or thoughts for what you'd like to see on the channel going forward, be it in sit-down videos in front of my bookshelves like this, or in reading vlogs, be they themes, be they, I don't know, just let me know. I'd be really chuffed to hear from you. And I think that's everything. I always feel like there's something else. You'd think after 9 years of doing this, or almost 9 years of doing this, I'd get better at signing off. No, the beginning of the video and the end of the video are always my trickiest bits. But, right, yes, keep the conversation going down below with, like I said, suggestions of things you'd like to see on the channel. Also, let me know if you've enjoyed any of the books that I have talked about. If you didn't enjoy any of the books that I've talked about, please hold fire until I've read them, whenever that might be. That, I think, is fair game. But until then, I don't want my fun fizzled out. I want my fun fizzled further, frankly. Take from that what you will. I'll be back with another video very soon. If you'd like more Savage Shenanigans in the interim, you can head to my Instagram, my Patreon, my Blue Sky down below, where my wishlist is also at. And yeah, I hope you're reading something fabulous. I look forward to chatting with you in the comments down below, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye.